So just to still break it down so it doesn't look too abstract, right? So like I said, like I explained in the previous slide, so the analysis process would first involve that, okay, I want to answer a question. So you have to define your objective. So basically, you ask a clear question that you want your analysis to answer. And really, this is like actually the main step, because if I should give Mr. A data and I give Mr. B a data and I ask them, okay, analyze this data, the question that will come to mind is that, okay, what exactly do you want me to analyze? What's the aim? What's the objective, right? What do you want to see from this data? Because both of us can analyze data and we have different findings. It's depending on what was our aim of analysis, what we're trying to find out, what we are trying to discover from that data. And when I'm talking about data now, data is data sets, right? It could be in Excel format, tables, row and columns. It could be web script from maybe websites, or maybe some data is actually organized, some are not organized, right? So, but let's just go with the very common one we have that people work with from time to time. Excel format type of data, could be CSV file and all of that. So if there's no question to answer, your analysis process will be ambiguous. Like, it will be difficult to say this is what I want to answer. So after the question has been established, data collection is the next thing, right? So if it is a business, so right, I believe that a business has a way of each different business, right? They have their different ways of gathering data. If it is a sales company now, and let's say people are placing orders. Let's say, I'm trying to look for a very popular sales company, maybe FCMG, or let me say, okay, let me just pick Jumia as a case study, right? As you are placing order in Jumia, you are on their website, you are placing order on Jumia. There's a backend that, okay, when you complete an order, let's say, it generates an order on their behalf. It generates the order at the back end. So you have an order ID, the name of this person, and all of that. And then different person place order. So probably at their back end, they are getting their data. So that's a sales company. They have their data source. And then we could have different person. It could be probably you are trying to perform a research as an undergraduate or as a graduate, as the case may be. So which I want to believe most of us might be able to relate with, right? So that's when you use surveys, like use Google Forms to collect the data, and then by the time you export it as an Excel file from your end. So that's the next key thing you do when it comes to data analysis. After you have defined, okay, you have written your problem statement and all of that, you want to um, answer the questions, right? You want to answer this question, and then you have to get the data that will be able to answer those questions. So that way you'll be able to know, okay, these are the fields, these are the questions I want people to answer. That way I will be able to answer those questions. So now, in process of collecting those data, right, there are areas whereby somebody might type something in error, something might be blank, and all of those things. So that's where data cleaning comes in. So you have to check for inconsistency, quality, if there are some features that if you, or these features will be redundant, right? You drop them, you remove them, and all of that. So that's where data cleaning come into play. Then the analysis now is where you now need to use those statistical techniques, right? I'll be talking about some of them in the next slide. So statistical techniques, you can start with descriptive analysis. Okay, if it is okay, before then, when you're doing analysis, we have quantitative data, like numbers, data that are actually in integer, could be integer, could be numbers, right? We call those ones quantitative variable. And then qualitative or categorical variable could be text answer, something like yes or no, maybe all these like it skill question, very good, medium, and all of those things. So text kind of stuff. So depending on the data type, right? If it is in numerical data, you have to pay me, you want to plot, you want to check the mean, you want to find the median, you want to find the mode, you want to check the variation, you want to plot a curve, a histogram to see, okay, where is the starting point? Where? So these statistical techniques, depending on what you want to investigate, right? Those are the things you carry out, you perform on this data. So that's where the analysis comes into play. Now, after you have done your analysis, quite all right, okay, this thing. Okay, I've plotted this histogram. Oh, this thing is a bell shape. Okay, what does the bell shape signifies? What does it implies? So that's when you start interpreting it. Okay, this is what it means, and this is what it connotes. This is what and what it should be. And oftentimes we tend to use charts, we tend to use tables, we tend to use different charts, right, to explain, to analyze, to visualize our analysis. Because at the end of the day, we are going to be telling a story with that data, right? And let's say most of our audience will most likely be non-technical audience, where you need to show them, they don't understand the number. It's not like they don't understand the numbers. The numbers on its own does not make much sense to them. They want to see a visual that will tell them, oh, this is what this means. So this thing is increasing. This is the line chart. In the month of October, we have this number of sales. In the month of like the subsequent month, it was increasing. So they want to see that trend. They want to see that increase. Oh, when they see something is going up, something is coming down, that visual, you are interpreting, you are telling them the story, right? So in summary, this is what I would put together to see this is what data analysis process is.